Hello, I don't twist, and thank God I got to do part 2 of this Raw recap and review from August 10th, 2026 in Norfolk, Virginia. And we left off with Solo and LA Knight talking, Solo trying to get help, but now we're leading on to our third match of the night, and it is Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Dolo, by the way, versus Dragon Lee. They got into this match because they had a little argument backstage on the part 1, and Lee instantly starts the match off, hitting with a big drop kick right into the corner, hitting with some big corner strikes back and forth, back and forth. But Dirty Dom said, I got it too. Big drop kick to you. We're going to hit you some more corner strikes in the corner, big stumps in the corner. Then they start getting to a little bag of exchange punches, chops, kicks, back and forth, which leads to Dragon Lee getting avenged by hitting the big Hurricane on him. Then he gets him to the corner, hits that step over kick over him, right into the jump over kick right down to him in there. But Dom gets up and hits that man with a big boot. Then Dragon Lee does the roll around. Does a pin combo type move right into a double stomp. Goes for the pin there. 1, 2. Kick out from Dom. After that, Dom now has to get the advantage. He's getting multiple strikes on him. And but Dragon Lee gets him to the corner. And he's running towards Dom, but he ends up lifting up Dragon Lee, and his leg is stuck on the rope, which is nasty, which he slams on it, and he slams him down to the outside after that. Dragon Lee is now grabbing his leg at that moment, and Dom pops out a move we haven't seen in a minute with him. He jumps off the rope inside, and then a crossbody to the outside. Fire sequence, and Dom... This back and forth between Dragon Lee and Dom is fire. It seems like Dom is actually caring about putting on good matches now. I guess he got tired of not getting TV time. He said, I need some more. and so, yeah, after that crossbody, that leads into a commercial break. We get back from the commercial break with Dragon Lee getting his comeback strikes in. Punches, kicks. Grab right into the big, grabbing him to hit him with a big tornado DDT on the Dom. 1, 2. Kick out from Dom. That leads to Dom now being on the outside of the ring. After he gets hit by Lee, Dragon Lee then hits that man with a tope on Hilo. He gets hyped with the crowd. He's jumping on the barricade. He drops down. He's finna grab Dom to throw him back in the ring, but Dom reverses him and grabs him and throws him into the apron. Then he hits an apron 619, which is really cool to see. He gets him back into the ring, but Dragon Lee grabs him and hits him with a big German suplex. He hits Dom with the German suplex and then tries to run at Dom afterwards, but Dom catches him and hits him with a big Michinoku driver. 1, 2. Kick out from Dragon Lee. At least then Dragon Lee trying to go to the top rope. Dom finds him up there at the top rope. They're fighting back and forth. Dragon Lee knocks him down. That goes into Dragon Lee hitting him with the big double stump off the top rope. Crazy move. It really should be a finisher. I'm going to say this every time I see it. 1, 2, but kick out from Dom. That is then Dragon Lee taking off his elbow to go for the running. But that gets reversed by Dom into a drop toe hold right into the rope. Goes for the 619. Dom goes to the top rope to try to go for the frog splash, but double knees by Dragon Lee and right into the big Operation Dragon Slam. 1, 2, 3. Big dub for Dragon Lee, and he needed a win like this because he be losing a lot. And I guess Dom had to take the L because they got tired of him complaining about his position in the company. I guess, I don't know, maybe it's a punishment. But Dragon Lee looks good for his match in the tournament coming soon. But it gets ended with Big Cass popping out and whooping on that man Dragon Lee again. And then he hits his finishing move on that man, the East River Crossing, bear hug right into a spinning slam. But who won it? Javon Evans popped out. He get into the ring. He getting multiple big strikes back and forth on the Big Cass, trying to get revenge. But that gets stopped when he tries to hit a springboard move on the Big Cass. Gets hit with a big clothesline, and then Big Cass hits that man Javon with a big boot, a big Timberland, knocking that man all the way down to the ground. Big Cass looking strong, man. Well, I'm pretty sure his first match is probably going to be against Javon, because Javon is not going to let what happened to him slide. We got another backstage segment with LA Knight beefing back and forth with Adam Pearce, talking about, hey, man, I got a lucha mask here if you could put me in the tournament. Trying to get another match, trying to get a match with Roman and everything. But that leads to Jacob Fatu running up. Fatu's like, man, you just going to keep talking about my family, man. LA says, I don't know why you walking up on me like that. You know you can't mess with me. You might as well get a permission slip for Roman Reigns to interact with me. And Fatu is basically upset about that. He said, you know what? If I could, I would dog walk your ass. Because everybody knows Jacob Fatu is all gas, no brakes with it. Yada I mean. So yeah, we might be getting a 5-2 LA Knight match soon. And that'd be really fun. That'd be really hard hitting. Like their match at WrestleMania, which is really good. The fourth match of the night, we have the Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez versus Sol Ruca and her mystery partner. She pops out and it's Io Sky pop out. I said, okay, we finna get to it. The match starts off with Sol and Raquel. And at first it starts with Raquel trying to get the advantage, trying to get the double clotheslines onto Sol, but Sol dodges both of them and ends up hitting her with a big punch right into a big drop kick of hers. And she tries to hit her with one of her big moves, the X Factor, shout out X Pac, but that gets reversed by Raquel into knocking her down, picking her up, putting her in the corner, and hitting the corner elbows back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then tagging in Roxanne. She gets into the ring, does a running uppercut onto Sol in the corner. Then hits big corner strikes on her, big stumps back and forth. Has to do arm manipulation on her, but that gets reversed by Sol. She ends up getting to her corner, tagging in Io Sky, and she Sol dropping down Roxanne, so Io Sky can get a big basement drop kick right into Sol, doing a big standing senton. Io does the pin, kick out from Roxanne. That leads to Io then hitting a big uppy. Io hitting a big Shote uppercut on the Roxanne, then tagging in Sol. At least Sol getting into the ring, but she ends up getting reversed by Roxanne. Roxanne ends up tagging in Raquel. Raquel gets to the ring, hits the big boot on the Sol. Ends up tagging in back in Roxanne. She goes over to the other side, grabs Io Sky and throws her into the ring. That's at least the both. Raquel and Roxanne trying to do double moves on the Io and Sol, but Sol and Io do cartwheels out of it at the same time, right into the big drop kicks by themselves onto them. At least Raquel leaving outside the ring. Io tries to go for the suicide dive on her, but she ends up getting caught. But Sol goes to the apron, does her moonsault off the ring post on the apron, slams right down into Raquel. But then at least the Roxanne then doing a suicide dive on the Io and Sol, and that leads them to a commercial break with the Judgment Day on top. Get back to the ring with Raquel and Sol. And now Raquel lands her fire move, which is the clothesline that misses, but she goes right back with another clothesline, slamming her down. It's always fun to see. But Sol gets back up, fights back, and then lands the big X Factor on the Raquel. That leads to a double down. You know what that means. Hot tag. Io Sky gets to the ring, big Shote uppercuts on the Roxanne, drops her down. She finna go to the apron to gotta go for a crossbody, but that gets stopped by Raquel. Trying to land a big boot on Io, but Io catches the boot, throws it at Roxanne. That leads to her being in a seated position out on the apron. Bullet train by Io Sky on the Raquel on the outside. Her then goes to the top rope, hitting a big missile drop kick onto Roxanne in the ring. She picks up Roxanne and picks her with the butterfly backbreaker right there. After her then landing a big DDT on the Roxanne, she goes for the pin. That leads to Sol running into the ring, hitting a big running knee onto Roxanne, and then tries to pick her for a power bomb, but she gets hurricanrana to the outside by Roxanne. And back inside the ring, we get Raquel fighting with Io. She picks her up for the invert suplex slam, tags in Roxanne. Roxanne then hits her big off the ropes moonsault on her, goes for the pin. 1, 2. Her then fighting with Raquel. She hits her with a big backstabber and then clotheslines her to the outside of the ring. But then Roxanne hits a big super kick on the Sol Ruca, getting her out of the equation. Io then grabs Roxanne, hits her with a big German suplex right into the big double knees bullet train in the corner. That leads to Sol then tagging herself in. She gets into the ring and then hits a big German suplex on Roxanne herself. And then on the outside, Io is fighting with Raquel and then hits her with the big acai moonsault, jumping off the rope, moonsault to Raquel on the outside, taking her out of the equation. With that happening, Roxanne does a roll up on the Sol. She kicks out of it, tries to go for pop rocks on the Sol, but Sol backflips out of it, punches her over to her corner, and then hits her with the Soul Snatcher. 1, 2, 3. Get W for Sol Ruca and Io Sky. back and forth, great back and forth match. A lot of action, and it's a good win that Soul needs to get on the boards to try to help her chances to get that IC title back again. I give that match a 4 stars, and it's always great to see Io Sky do crazy stuff. And then they have a segment after the match with Soul and Io having a little funny conversation. We're good as a team. We need to work on our high fives and everything. And that leads to them running into Lyra Valkyria, who's still acting crazy, and she's arguing back and forth with Soul, feeling like she's thinking she's better than her, trying to get the IC title back and everything. Then we get another segment with Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman, and he's asking Paul, "Do you think Oba is the future of this company?" And Paul says, "I respect you a lot, Brian, but I also respect Oba because he said he was going to do everything he said he was going to do. So I respect both of y'all." And Brian says, "That's not what I asked you. So I'm going to ask you one more time. Do you think Oba is the future of the company?" And Paul goes on to say, "What I think is that you're starting to think that he is. I keep respecting Oba until you show me there's a reason not to respect Oba." So he's basically like trying to give that man Braun some tough love. And then we get one last backstage segment setting up a match with Chad Gable walking up on the Rey Mysterio and Penta, and he says, "Great match, Penta, you cooked, but also Rey, I want to set out a friendly competition, a little offer. I want against me versus you for this IC title." And Rey's like, "I'm down with it. I'm down with it." He said. And so Gable's like, "Hey, let me just go talk to Pierce so he can handle this out." Then we get to the main event of the evening. We have main event Jey Uso, the Yeet Man, versus Solo Sikoa. And if Jey wins, Solo gotta join the Bloodline. If Solo wins, they gotta leave that man alone. This match starts off with monologuing between Jason, like, "We didn't need to do this. We didn't need to do this." They tie up, and Solo throws that man off of him right into him being a little asshole. He hits him with the man with the yeet after that. But Jey, then they leads to another tie up with them going to the ropes, the corner now with the ref separation, and Jey does the heel move by punching him off the ref separation. It leads to him then punching him back and forth. Solo regains, but Solo gets it right by then trying to Irish whip him into the corner, but he jumps over Solo right into trying to hit a big move on him, but Solo stops him by hitting him with a big shoulder tackle, knocking him down to the ground. And Solo hits a whole bunch of headbutts, slamming him back and forth, even as a jumping, diving headbutt of him on the ground. Goes for the pin on that one. 1, 2, kick out from Jey. And then that leads to Solo then grabbing Jey and then throwing him outside the ring, and then yeeting with the crowd. More BS. He's doing that there. He grabs him, slamming him onto the announce table, slamming him to the apron. Then he tries to slam him to the stairs, but this time Jey is trying to get his comeback in. He reverses that, grabs him, and throws him into the stairs. And he's punching him back and forth while he's near the barricade. They get back into the ring after that, and then Solo tries to run towards him, but he does the Ole. He goes outside the ring right after Jey hitting the big suicide dive on him, which looked nasty. It looked like he hurt his shoulder on that barricade. But then he grabs him up, puts him back into the ring, goes to the top rope, hits him with a big crossbody. 1, 2, kick out from Solo. At least the Solo now in a seated position in the corner. Jey tries to run over, do the throwing but Solo reverses out of that and then hits a big clothesline on him midway. He does a big flip off of that, leads to a double down right there. They get back up, and it's Solo stopping Jey's punches to hit his own solo combo and finishes off with a yeet with it, just like Jey does. Put him down, and then he hits him with a big Samoan drop. Then he gets him to the corner, and then he says, "My turn to throw some big hip attack on his own brother, by the way. 1, 2, kick out from Jey, though. Fighting back, and Solo's trying to get the big advantage on Jey, but Jey quickly puts the sleeper hold on him right there. He gets him pushed off of him, and Solo hits him with a big heel kick, knocking him down into the ground, picks him up, hits him with the big spinning Solo. 1, 2, kick out again from Jey. He's not going out like that. He doesn't want to let down his tribal chief. That leads to then Solo trying to get the match over, but leads to Big Jim interfering, jumping onto the apron with that event, with that distraction, leads to Jey Uso hitting the big spear onto that man. 1, 2, kick out from Solo. He got resiliency too. Then Jim trying to get involved again, but this time Solo grabs that man, big spike to the neck, but without that distraction again. Big spear by Jey Uso. He goes to the top rope. Uso splash. 1, 2, 3. Jey Uso gets the dub. Really entertaining match. Solo is hilarious. And I like this more darker version of Jey Uso now that he's in the Bloodline. He's getting more angry. And this match was solid, you know. It's a way better brother versus brother match than the one with Jimmy. So yeah, great. So you always love to see that. I give this match a 4 stars. Very entertaining. Good way to end the show. But now the thing is, next week, he gets to deliver Solo Sikoa to the tribal chief himself. He has to submit. So it's an interesting dynamic right there. I wonder if LA Knight's going to get involved. He wasn't involved tonight, so I guess he isn't going to be involved. But that is going to be the end of part 2 of this Raw Recapping review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Every week we have these Raw Recapping reviews. And we got the PLEs when they have and we have WWE 2K26 My Rise content as well coming out this Friday. My name is Twist. Remember, y'all, Jesus loves you. And always keep God first. I'm out.